Welcome to the first of two videos on great works. In this first part I'll talk about the great works that are available to practically everyone, with wonders that are a lot more limited in who can build them being reserved for the next video. Aside from talking about their effects, I'll also mention their costs, though this will refer to the wonders you can build yourself. Many of the historical wonders have different costs and also can lack some of the generic upgrades available to the wonders that you start yourself. First of all, I'll talk about the great works that provide some protection to the provinces. In this category, we have the Great Walls, the Grand Fortress, and the Underground City. First thing to note is that the Grand Fortress and Underground City cannot build the Tower generic feature, which grants 5% siege defense and 0.02 monthly prestige. And lacking that siege defense is a bit unfortunate if your goal is to make a county as strong as possible on the defense. But let's take a look at what the rest of their features are. First of all, the Great Walls. Here we have them built in Holland. And as you can see, they give you fort level plus a 1.25, plus 0.4 monthly prestige, and plus 10% siege defense if they are at the maximum level. To construct them, you will need improved keeps and construction tech to be at level 4. And you will also need 8.6k gold at the base cost. 5,000 of that needs to be paid at the start of the stages, and 3.6k is paid total over the course of the construction of the various stages, though these prices do go down with technology or traits. Its unique features center heavily around further increasing the siege defense with a maximum of plus 75% siege defense from all these various features. Furthermore, you can get a total of 450 archers and 100 heavy infantry in each holding in the county where the fortress is built from these features. And you also get plus 8 city vessel opinion and the unique effect of upgrading all the walls in the county to the maximum level, though this only applies to holdings that are already built when you get this upgrade. If you build new holdings after that, they will not have the walls at the maximum level. And you also get better odds at defensive siege events, 2 minor titles. And with that, I'll also immediately mention that for all the minor titles you get from these wonders, you cannot get multiple. If you build multiple of the same wonder, you will be limited to just one of each minor title that you get. And the problem here with this wall is, well, I just mentioned a ton of things, and that indeed means that there are even more features than there are feature slots. There's a total of 10 unique features for the Grand Walls. I can go over all of them. Let's turn off this extra text. So first of all, the sea walls, which you can of course only build in a coastal province. And then we have the studded bastions, the strategic exclaves, the soaring fortresses, the hidden gates, the gatehouse forts, the stage killing fields, the deep defense architecture, artificial islands, which again can only be built in a coastal county, and lastly the walker of the wall. And then we get all the generic upgrades that are available for all of the great works. Anyway, at least because 2 of these unique features are only available in coastal provinces, if you build it inland, then you can build all the unique features you want. I guess that's the bright side to that lack of features when you build it inland. It does mean that the bonuses you get from building all the unique features go down in the siege defense and city vessel opinion bonus departments, bring you to 45% siege defense and plus 3 city vessel opinion. Now, next up, the Grand Fortress. That is the building that we are most likely to compare the Grand Walls to. It has the same modifiers from being a stage 4 building, but the rest of the great work features are different. First of all, it comes with a different cost. It costs 14,000 gold in total, almost twice as much as the Great Walls. And there it is spread between 8.6k gold for starting all of the stages and 5.4k gold used up during construction. One would hope that these unique features that the Grand Keep has make up for the increase in cost, so let's have a look at those. First of all, we again get heavy infantry. Aside from that, we get a bunch of other things. We get in total plus 25% siege defense, plus 5% arrest and assassination chance, plus 10% land organization, plus 5 brave opinion, plus 3 personal combat rating, and no archers. So it's a bit weaker when it comes to both defense and giving you troops, but it does have more special effects. If we look at the unique effects, we get a reduced chance of artifacts being stolen, an extra execution flavor text, the ability to intimidate people, and that has various options depending on whether the target is cruel or not, and the ability to have a private conversation, which doesn't actually seem to do anything, but I'm sure it's supposed to do something, a higher chance of escaping capture after battle, and improved smiths. The improved smiths have the ability to give you a Zweihander, and that is useful if you are in one of the Germanic culture groups, so that's West, Central and North Germanic, one of the Celtic culture group cultures, or in the Latin or Iberian culture groups. Let's have a look at that artifact. It is the Zweihander sword, and as you can see it is active if you're in one of these cultures and if you have the combat rating of 20 or higher, or one of strong, giant and brawny. Strong, giant and brawny are a bit rare, but combat rating of 20 or higher should be easy enough to get, and then you get a very powerful sword, arguably one of the best. So definitely worth trying to get your hands on one of these swords at least, so could be a reason to build that grand fortress. Again though, we do run into the issue of there being 10 unique features, and by default there only being 8 feature slots on the Great Work. Furthermore, the bone mode feature requires you to be cruel for it to be active, so that is a further limitation. Aside from all the unique features, the Grand Fortress also has the semi-generic historical mural, which grants plus 3 dynasty opinion, and the torture chambers, which grant plus 10 cruel opinion and give you intimidation and private conversations ability. Furthermore, it's also supposed to add an extra execution flavor text option for executing prisoners, but I haven't actually found that. So yeah, let's move on to the next great work, and that will be the underground city. Here we have one built in Switzerland, and this one gives, as you can see, plus 10% siege defense and plus 0.4 monthly prestige. A bit less impressive than the previous 2 great works, but that's not the only issue. It is also limited in where you can build it. You can only build it in a desert or mountain county that has a hill or mountain county adjacent to it. So that basically means pretty much in or near any mountain. Mountains are found in Norway and in the Alps, as well as some extra mountains in Italy. In Spain, you of course have the Pyrenees and some other mountain ranges. In Africa, you've got the Atlas Mountains, you've got the Ethiopian highlands here that also have a mountain range, a little bit of mountain here, letting you build this great work in the deserts. And also we have in the Arabian Peninsula what I believe are the Sarawat Mountains. In the east you also have a couple of extra mountains. I believe those are the Al Hajar Mountains. Then let's go back to Europe for a moment. We have a bunch of mountains in the Balkans, a bunch of mountains on islands in Greece, and Turkey is just positively filled with mountains. You've also got the Zagros Mountains going through Persia, and various other mountains can be found in Persia as well. Then we get, of course, to the Himalayas. We have the Altai Mountains and some mountains here. And lastly, we also have the Western Ghats in India, letting you have a couple of extra spots where you can build this great work. Anyway, back to the actual great work. It of course isn't free. It costs 10,550 gold in total, spread between 6,350 in upfront costs and 4,200 gold during construction. Interestingly, the final stage costs a mere 200 gold to begin, making it the only normal great work stage that is cheaper to begin than it costs during its construction. Probably Paradox missed a number here or something. Somewhat lackluster compared to the previous two great works. As you can see, it has not much in modifiers at stage 4 and no fourth level at all. Similarly, its unique features are a lot less compared to the previous two, being only 5, and they don't give nearly as much, with a total of 1 minor title plus 10% plus power defense, a local movement speed increase of the same amount, also local text modifier at plus 10% and plus 10% rest chance. At least you don't have to worry about running out of feature slots. Again, aside from the unique features, it has the same historical mural and torture chamber that you can find in the Grand Fortress. And well, the only circumstances in which I would go for this great work over one of the other ones is if you've got an inland county that's bringing you a significant amount of tax income and you just want to increase it even further for those tax income bragging rights. Continuing with a couple of great works that can only be built in specific locations, we move on to the coastal great works. And in that category we have the Great Harbor and the Great Lighthouse. The Great Harbor, here built in West Friesland, costs a total of 9,350 gold, spread between 4.9k gold up front and 3,450 gold during construction. At stage 4 it grants, as you can see, plus 10% tax, plus 100 trade value, plus 5% build cost, so that is a negative, and plus 0.4 monthly prestige. It has 6 unique features, which together give you a total of plus a 1.25 supply limit, plus 50% galleys, plus 15% siege speed, plus 10% siege defense, plus 17.5% local tax modifier, and plus 60 trade value in addition to a minor title. So all of that makes it a very good choice for a great work, both for having a nice rally point for all your troops with that extra supply limit, and also those galleys. And also it's a great work for just straight up raising your tax income. Next we have the Lighthouse, of course, and that has a fairly similar focus, giving you plus 15% local tax, plus 50 trade value, and plus 0.7 monthly prestige. And this one costs a total of 8.1k to build to stage 4. And that is divided between 4.5k to start the stages and 3.6k during construction. Its unique features, however, don't really help your income the way the unique features of the harbor do. It has 4 unique features, and those give you a total of plus 5% morale of armies, plus 3 sex appeal, a reduction in chance of artifacts being stolen, and a minor title, as well as the ability to have private conversations. So this makes the harbor much better for income, despite the lighthouse giving you a higher amount of tax from having it at stage 4. There's also a historical lighthouse. This is of course the Great Lighthouse of Alexandria. So if you really want to unlock more minor titles, you can consider just conquering that one and saving your gold for building more useful great works. At least the lighthouse does let you build a nice historical mural, so that is one thing it's got over the Grand Harbor. And now we'll move on to two great works that are slightly limited by your religion rather than the location, and those are the Grand University and the Great Library, so our two learning focused great works. These are only active while you are following a reformed religion, and they cannot be built by any pagans other than Hellenics. Both of them improve the invite holy man decision, giving you a chance of having a holy man with some traits that further improve him, as well as having a chance of him just having straight up higher learning. Both of these great works also have access to the historical mural upgrades. Anyway, let's start talking about the university. The university costs a total of 8,250 gold, 4.5k upfront and 3,750 during construction, and brings in a total of 0.4 monthly prestige, as you can see here, 0.2 culture tech points and 0.02 military and economy tech points. Perhaps interesting to note here is that a normal university building, when fully upgraded, gives you 0.15 monthly economy tech points. So a normal city university actually provides more economy tech than a grand university. Anyway, the important thing of the great work, of course, is its unique features. It has 7, and these give combined a total of +1 in each of your skills and an additional +0.1 culture tech points and +0.05 economy and military tech points. Furthermore, it gives +15% tech spread rate, +5 scholar and +3 city vessel opinion, as well as a minor title. Now, perhaps most exciting about this great work is that the skill increase from its unique features stacks if you have multiple grand universities. So if you have 10 of them, you can get +10 in all of your skills for all of your characters, which is pretty amazing. Unfortunately, this will get expensive really quickly because the cost of new wonders increases by 40% for every wonder you have, and an extra 80% for every wonder you already have of the type you're trying to build. So if you're trying to build 10 grand universities, those are going to cost you a ton of gold. As for the Grand Library, it costs us slightly higher, 8,840 gold, 5,000 of which is paid at the start of its stages, and 3,840 is used up during construction. And it comes by default at stage 4 with 1 monthly prestige, 0.1 culture tech points, and 5% tech spread rate. Furthermore, it helps with writing books, meaning you can get an event which improves your book if you are busy writing one, and it also comes with 7 unique features. These give a total of +11% tech spread rate, +0.1 monthly prestige, and a minor title. In addition, each book collection has an associated event granting some rather nice books. We have the Lost Play from the Poetry and Drama collection, together with the Lost Poetry Masterpiece. We have the Lost Book of Medicine from the Natural Science collection, together with the Lost Astronomy book from the same. There is the Lost Philosophy book from the Math and Philosophy collection. Then we have the Lost Architecture book from the Architecture collection. And there is the Book of Ancient History, of course, from the History collection feature. And lastly, we have the Clever Forgery, which you can get with any of the collections. Finally, perhaps not as interesting when it comes to deciding what to build, but worth noting if you find yourself not wanting these great works anymore. When looted, the university can give you books, although not from this collection, and the Great Library can give you cathedral bells. Probably a mistake there. The House of Wisdom, which is the historical library, which you can find in Baghdad, it does give you books as you would expect, like with the university, so probably the library is supposed to give those as well. Aside from that, it's also an interesting thing to note that the House of Wisdom gives +0.2 cultural tech points and +0.4 monthly prestige instead of the normal library bonuses. Finally, for our last set of wonders, we'll look at 4 that don't really link much together, except perhaps for the fact that 3 of them are suffering from some bugs, and those are the Statue, Palace, Garden and Mausoleum. First, the Statue. It can't be built by any humble characters and is neither buildable nor active for iconoclasts or zealous Muslims, but if you aren't humble and you also are not an iconoclast or a zealous Muslim, then you can build the statue at the steep price of 11.2 thousand gold. 7.2k of that is paid at the start of the stages and 4,000 is paid during the construction of the various stages. I imagine that this is inspired by something like the Colossus of Rhodes rather than just being any average old statue, especially if you compare the size of the statue to these trees here, because I don't think you'd be paying 11.2 thousand gold to just an average old statue. Makes sense, being a great work at all as well. As for its bonuses, it grants, as you can see, a 2% reduction in revolt risk, a 1 year reduction on the short range penalty, and a plus 0.65 monthly prestige. For a reference, the default of the short range penalty is 10 years, so you get a 10% reduction here basically, and it can be reduced to 5 with tech, so then it's a 20% reduction on your short range penalty, which is pretty nice. It also has 6 unique features linked to it. 3 of these however are mutually exclusive. Those are the bronze, silver and gold plating, and well, you have a plus 0.1, plus 0.2 or plus 0.3 prestige benefit, and of course they also have differing costs. I would always go for the gold plating, because if you can only build one of them, then might as well go for the best one. However, do make sure to be quick in building your plating, because if somebody else builds a statue and they get plating up before you do, then you can't build plating anymore, because for whatever reason it checks whether there is any plating at all in the world, not just whether there is plating already on your current statue. Paradox plays fix. Aside from the plating, it does also have other features. Of course, you can build additional statues for plus 3 dynasty opinion. You can get the Watcher of Giants feature to get an extra minor title. And lastly, it is supposed to have a crown. Unfortunately, continuing on with the issues that the ground statue has, the crown does not actually show up for construction. It would give you plus 3 vessel opinion if you could build it, but it's not here, so tough luck. Next up, but still suffering from issues, we get the Grand Palace. The Royal Palace comes at a cost of 5.6k for starting and 3,435 during construction, for a grand total of 9,035 default costs. And you get to watch it have a supposed plus 750 retinue size and plus 20% retinue size at that price tag. Unfortunately, those modifiers can be crossed out. They don't work. You do, however, also have these 2 other bonuses that hopefully do work for you, and those are plus 0.4 monthly prestige and plus 3% morale of armies. Aside from those modifiers, it of course comes with 7 unique features, which if all built give you a grand total of plus 1.05 monthly prestige, plus 10% arrest chance, plus 5% fertility, plus 10 drunkard opinion, plus 5 brave opinion, plus 3 personal combat rating, and if you are cruel, also plus 20 cruel opinion. Furthermore, it enables private conversations, a minor title, and the send alcohol gifts, which increases the opinion of a target character by 10 for a year and can be used once per year. Furthermore, like the Great Walls and Grand Fortress, the Royal Palace has space for a historical mural and torture chamber. Furthermore, great news for the Pope, his palace is not bugged, as, well, let's have a look at his palace. It just gives monthly prestige. He doesn't have to worry about his retinue bonus not working, because the Apostolic Palace doesn't have it to begin with. Yeah. let's just move on to the next great work, the Grand Magnificent Gardens, which cost a total of 7,500 gold, spread between 4.8k in upfront costs and 2.7k that gets used during construction. Now, people who have used the business focus a lot on characters with very high income are probably used to gardens costing about this much anyway. These gardens though manage to stick around between characters and grant you plus 10% disease resistance, plus 0.4 monthly prestige and plus 0.2 health. Earlier I had some issues with the gardens where the modifier for the health didn't show up, although it did get applied to the character, so there's the gardens entry for being slightly bugged, I guess. And of course it has a bunch of unique features, possibly including the most interesting one out of all the great works. So it has 10 of them, and these, if all somehow built, give you a total of plus 10% plot power and plot power defense, plus 0.2 monthly prestige, plus 10 drunkard opinion, plus 5 poet and gardener and own children opinion, plus 5% fertility and plus 0.1 health, and then the special effects of giving you herbs, enabling alcoholic gifts, private conversations, and the important one, letting you de-age by 2 years with a 10-year cooldown. So every 10 years you can make your character 2 years younger, so that'll help him stick around for a bit longer. And as if all of that wasn't enough, you're also able to put a historical mural on this great work. And with all of that said about the gardens, let's head on over to the final great work of this video, where we sadly can't avoid running into further bugs. But before we get to the bugs, let's go to the basics of the Mausoleum. It of course costs gold, in this case 8.7k, spread between 5.1k upfront and 3600 during construction. Then let's take a look at the effects. It gives you plus 3 dynasty opinion, plus 1 monthly prestige, and then we already get to the first bug. It gives minus 0.8% local revolt risk, as you can see here. You can also see it give 4 times minus 0.2% if you mouse over the revolt risk in the province, but it's supposed to give you minus 1%. It's supposed to give you minus 0.25 for each stage, but apparently that gets rounded off to minus 0.2 per stage. So that is a little bit unfortunate. It of course comes with a couple of unique features, and those grant you a total of minus 5% local revolt risk, plus 0.05 monthly prestige, plus 3 dynasty opinion, and a plus 10% assassination chance, plus 5 horse opinion, and plus 5 own children opinion. Furthermore, it gives you a minor title and ability to intimidate people, and it is also supposed to give you plus 5 opinion with Zunists of both reformed and unreformed variety if we build the Eternal Flame. Now let's build that. We can see here Zunist opinion plus 5. And now we're supposed to have plus 5 opinion with the random Zunist that showed up in Gelre. Look, he is Zunist and our opinion is 18, and the modifiers do not at all include the flame that we just built in the Mausoleum. So that's a little bit of a shame if you happen to manage to save the Zunist and have that bonus actually be relevant. Fortunately, most of the time it's not relevant, but it is really sad if you do manage to get into that scenario that it doesn't do anything. Back to our actual Mausoleum. To wrap things up, it should be noted that in the Mausoleum you cannot build the hippocausts or the heating pipes generic features. I guess the people feel that the dead probably won't care whether they are kept nice and warm. At least they can enjoy pretty pictures instead of the heating, as you can build the historical mural in the Mausoleum. And finally, to wrap things up, it should also be mentioned that there is also a historical Mausoleum, and that is the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus, found in Mugla, or also known as Lycia if held by Greek rulers. And that is it for this video. Next time I'll be looking at the great works that have rather more specific build requirements. So I'll see you in a couple of weeks with that video. Until then, good luck building all the great works.